Just listen to this clown. There it again, clown circus. Listen to him.
Words from each according to their ability, to each according to their needs. That is the central tenet of Marxism.
Okay, why do we give a damn about Marxism? It wasn't Marxism that drugged us over here. It wasn't Marxism that raped us. It wasn't Marxism that stole our language from us and dehumanized us. It wasn't Marxism that did that for 400 years. You know what it was? It wasn't communism either. You know what it was? It was Christianity and you and democracy. That's what did it. Somebody tell me about no damn Marxism. I don't care about Marxism or communism, any of it. But it was capitalism that stole this country and committed genocide. It was Christianity that stole this country and committed genocide. It was Christianity that took Australia. It took Christianity and democracy that took South America and North America and Canada and all other islands. That's the one that's shaping the world today for the last 40 years. Don't tell me some Marxism. Sick people. And you got a lot of black people, oh man, what about Marxism? Marxism didn't do this, you did it. And you're still doing it. Because we're still captive in this country. We're a nation, but we're still captive in this country. We don't have free will. You want to rule us. Why don't you leave us alone? We will rule ourselves. We don't need you.
It is a false promise. You know, I said in my book at the time, Live Free or Die, that socialism, whatever.
Yeah, live free or die for you. What about us? See? The model we gave us is be a slave or die. Slavery or death. See, we give you slavery or death. That's the model you gave us. Slavery or death.
Whatever name, whatever manifestation it takes on, I laid out its history of failure.
Okay, I'm not for Marxism, but you're a damn liar. Because the reason why Marxism failed wasn't because of Marxism, because you challenged it every time it came up. You did everything you could to stop it. See, so you don't know if it works or not. You make sure it doesn't work. Because you're afraid that the poor people, you understand, will stop you ripping them off and taking all their wealth from them. So don't tell me that it didn't fail on its own. It fell because you opposed it at every turn. Now you're going to talk about Venezuela. Yeah, it was a rich country. So Saudi Arabia is a rich country. They don't have capitalism there. But the reason why it's prospering there, because they do what you want them to do. And if they was doing what you want them to do in Venezuela, right, then you wouldn't be bothering them either. So he said they failed, like the economy just collapsed because couldn't be sustained. But why is Saudi Arabia being sustained? And then again, Iran, they was a capitalist democracy back in the 50s, but you didn't like them. So what'd you do? You got rid of the president and you installed a tyrant called the Shah. And he wasn't about democracy or capitalism. So give me that shit. You all are full of shit, all of you.
Remember, this is exactly what Hugo Chavez was promising his people in Venezuela just 20 years ago.
Same thing you did in Cuba. If you left them alone, you see if it prosper or not. But you didn't leave them alone. You keep bothering them. It's prospering in China, ain't it? You know why it's prospering in China? China's kicking your ass. They ain't capitalists. They communists. But you can't stop them. And that's your problem. Because you see it prospering there. I'm like I said, I'm not for it. I'm against all that crap. See, everybody, anybody just open their eyes, they can see right through your dumb ass. You're just big liars. Oh, it does. Well, how come it's working in China? How come communism working in China? Why is it working there? Why is they so successful? Why is it kicking your ass? See, but it's not working in Venezuela because they don't have nuclear weapons, and they can't. And you can sanction them and doing everything else you can to stop them. Same thing in Cuba. Same thing in Haiti. You're big liars, and the point is, you keep lying, but it doesn't matter because that's all you do. But you're gonna be lying a whole lot more in a few more days until your lies just catch up with you, and they're catching up with you now. Because what you gonna do? When this whole shit come falling down, it's collapsing on you right now. Your lies is not gonna keep it going. Your lies is not gonna sustain it.
Now the citizens of this once rich country in South America
That you impoverished. You caused that. You caused that because you sanctioned them and everything else. You caused that. It didn't happen on its own. You caused it.
they're scrounging, food for dumpsters. More than 4 million Venezuelans have fled the country as we speak.
Yeah, and you caused that. You're talking about how come people come to America? Because you stole everything everybody got, and they're all here. I mean, you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to figure that one out. You don't have to be an Einstein to figure that out, right? If you stole everything, right, all the food, you go where the food is. You just stabilize Syria. That's why you got all the refugees coming from there. You stabilize Iraq. That's why you got all the refugees coming from there. You stabilize Libya. So that's why people are running from those places. You stabilize Mexico. You stabilize all South America. That's why they're running here. Remember, Texas belonged to them. California belonged to them, and you took it. You took it. So you're the one that's illegal alien.
Venezuelan migrants are pouring across our southern border. Look at the...
It's not your border. You illegal alien here. It's not yours. You took it. You stole it. It's not yours. You're going to say Jesus sanctioned that? Is that what you're going to say? He sanctioned murder, rape, theft, genocide? Is that what you're saying? No. The God that you're praying to is the one that does the same thing you do. He's proud of you because Satan's a genocidal maniac. He's a rapist. He's a murderer, like Jesus said, a liar. And that's all that you've been doing. You didn't come over here with lilacs and chocolate. No, you came over here with knives and genocide and murder and disease and death. That's why I call you second death in Revelations.
United States of America. We're not perfect, but we are the...
Oh, you're not perfect. Listen to this one. Listen to this one. Listen to this one.
Last best hope for mankind on Earth.
I want to see it.
Immigrants from all over the
world. You got to hear that again.
Forget Agent Grace.
Oh.
I'm fighting back.
Get to solutions. What you can...
I would miss that.
His wife is a Democrat operative.
Probably the most important.
Administration, you hear it
Let's
in the
get
media.
back to that.
We've allowed these people...
Freedom of assembly, freedom of movement, free enterprise, our southern border. Look at the United States of America.
Listen.
We're not perfect, but we are the last best hope for mankind on Earth. Immigrants from all over the world flock to this land.
The last best hope for mankind on Earth. The last best hope. You the last best hope, and we in trouble. Because we're murderers. You're psychopaths. And you talking about communism. You lived off us for 400 years. That was free help. That was free benefits, free everything, guaranteed. That's worse than Marxism.
For one basic reason, freedom. We're not building walls to keep people in because the world's population would love to come here.
No, that's a lie. Everybody don't want to come here. If you knew some of them would come here, you'd be surprised. They don't want to come here. We didn't want to come here. We want to get the hell out of here. But you don't want us to leave. You got a lot of people. That's why you don't want people talking separation. Because you don't want people to know that they want to leave here. You don't want the people to know that you got millions of people want to get the hell out of here. See, you bring these demons on, your blackface children. You bring them on, right? To make them think that we love it here. We want to be here. No, you got millions of black folks that want to be here, want no parts of you, want to get the hell out of here. Line. It's funny. It's really funny, right? because your days are over. You know, I mean, Goebbels would be proud of y'all. He would.
We believe in the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of information.
As long as it's pro for you. As long as it's pro for you. See, as long as it's pro-America. Because if you speak against it, we know what happens then, don't we?
Freedom of assembly, freedom of movement, free enterprise, the freedom.
Then why you get past that sister? Because she the one swoop that flag that calls her a nigger, and says she should be terrorized in life and after death. Why you getting mad with her? She was just expressing herself. Freedom. What was the freedom on that one?
Freedom to pursue happiness each and every day.
Yeah, we pursued happiness for 400 years. We never caught it. We was running for it. Yeah, but I guess you got that one right. We had the right to pursue happiness. Didn't have the right to get it. We had the right to pursue it. We never caught it. And we still get caught over here. You understand? We got 9,000 miles more to go to catch it. Because they ain't going to catch it here.
And always striving to become a more perfect union.
Oh, striving. Oh, I thought you was the best in the world. Your last hope. So why you got to strive to become more perfect? Oh, more perfect. Why you got to strive? I thought you had it all together. So how much more striving you got to do? Sick people. Just live what they say. See, they got to drag crap out of their behind. See, they can't find more honey anywhere. So they got crap. Hey, man, grab somebody behind. Say, this honey. Come on, it's honey. Don't worry about the smell. This honey. See, they giving you shit, handful of shit. Say, see, man, look, it's brown like honey. I mean, it looks a little different, but it's honey. Smell. I mean, don't worry about the smell. It's honey. We know it's shit.
Now, these freedoms are enshrined in our great Constitution.
Yeah, the same one that says we 3/5 human. Ain't that the one? The one that was written by Jefferson, who was sodomizing toddlers and young girls, right? Sticking his pisser in their mouth. Is that the same one? And same thing in Washington? Is that the one you're talking about? That's the Constitution? See? We was kissing his ass during that time. See? And he was raping us and everything else and living off us. Is that the Constitution? That's the one you said wrote that? He's the one that he had hundreds of slaves? Right? We was more than slaves. See, we was less than animals. It says in that Constitution you're talking about. It says right in that Constitution, 3/5 human. So is that the one you're talking about, Jefferson? Is that the document you're talking about? That great one? See? Even in his death, he's still in freedom. We can't even call it, we weren't slaves, we was much more than that. See, worse than animals, worse than dogs.
And literally, these are rights given to us by God, not by...
What God? Oh, God was right? Oh, Jefferson was God? God was, if they was given by God, why didn't, God said don't give them to those niggas? Is that what he said? You said it was given by God. So if he gave it to you, then why did he, that's right, we was animals. See? Just listen to these clowns, we was animals. See, we was animals. So you're talking about, he was given to the white man. That's what it is. So it was given by God, but apparently was God blind because he didn't see us? See, we animals. I mean, so God see we animals too. Because, I mean, they didn't give it to the dogs and cats and rats and frogs, right? So we was animals, so it wouldn't include us. Because he said it was given by God, right? And we were still, right, sitting down there being beat, tormented every day.
By government, not by the thing either, as Joe says. Now, this is important because remember, what the government giveth, your government can taketh away. And in Marxism...
Exactly. So if this government gave us so-called freedom, because we're not free, because we're still under your control. We still got to obey your orders. We still got to live like you tell us to live, or we get thrown into prison or killed. So wake up, Negroes out there, right? The government, he just told you, government give it, government take it away. So if they gave you freedom, they can take it away. He just told you. He just told you that. He just told you, didn't he? Oh, but you don't believe him, right?
Marxism, the government controls it all. This book is probably the defining book of our time. Joining
Yeah. Oh boy, here comes the chief clown, right?
us now is the author. It's called American Marxism. It is out next Tuesday. And,
Goebbels.
you know, one thing I'll say about this book, understanding the contents of this book and its call to action, it captures the moment of America at this time. And in many ways, I see it as a do or die moment. And it's important that we identify what is happening so that we can resolve to join together to stop it from happening. The great one, Mark Levin. You know,
The great one.
we've known each other a long time. This book right now that I have in my hand, and I would urge people when they read it to read it slowly, because there's a lot to absorb in here, a lot of information in this book. And it's only 7 chapters, but it's the longest book you've ever written. And you get to chapter 7, and that's the call to action. It's not just about identifying the problems, it's solving the problems. Let me start with this fundamental question. Why liberals never wanted to call themselves liberals? You say American Marxism, and the left's heads are going to explode. They're already exploding. I've seen comments already.
Oh, I'm not going to play all this, but oh boy, and we got to worry about Marxism. See, but was it Marxism that drugs over here from Africa? Was it Marxism that raped us and beat us? Marxism stole our language, stole our culture, reduced us to animals. Was Marxism do that? Was it communism do that? Or was it Christianity, right? Your fake religion, right? Who really serves Satan, the God of this world, as Jesus told you. He said, know you by your works. And what are your works? Your record: genocide, murder, death, disease, tyranny, oppression, slavery. Now, did I miss anything? Now, tell me something. Yeah, but we came up with democracy, and we got the greatest document ever. And that alleviates all other stuff, even though that's bullshit also. See, so that shit works. It says know the Bible works. So your fake religion, Christianity, you really say, because you tell who your God is, right? Who you mimicking, who you mimicking, right? See. So who are you mimicking? See, who are you mimicking? Are you mimicking Jesus' actions, or are you mimicking? See, that's how you tell who you are. Nobody works. See, so whose actions are you mimicking? Jesus' actions or Satan's? We know who you are. And that clown on the left over there, you understand? We know who he is. See, he's a fool. He's hoping he can talk his way out of this shit. He ain't gonna talk his way out of it.
About the title of your book, people not having read your book. Why did you name it American Marxism?
Well, thank you, Sean. And let's start right there. The title of the book came to me. I started this book about 16 months ago, about 10 months into the book. As I was doing research and studying the scholarship and who are behind these various movements, critical theory, critical race theory, the current immigration movement, so-called climate change, a degrowth movement, transgenderism.
I can tell you who's behind it. That's easy. I ain't gotta read your book. You! This system is behind it. You behind it. Remember, it says, know a tree by the fruit it bears. This is the fruit of this country. Can it be clear? Know a tree by the fruit it bears. So this is what America has born. America has born freedom, really, has it? It has all the good things that you claim Christians do. This is the fruit that you complain about. You say that's so bitter. But where did it come from? It come out of your system. Transgenderism, right? That's y'all. You created that. Nobody else is doing it. That came out of this system, right? Slavery, that came out of the system. What we're talking about? You're talking about a critical race. Well, that's your history. That's the fruit of this system. Know a tree by the fruit it bears. This is the fruit of It's your democracy and capitalism. And it's bitter fruit and you don't like it. Now you're gonna blame it on somebody else. Man, I don't know that tree bearing that kind of fruit. Something wrong with it, man. That's your tree. You planted that tree. So if you don't like the fruit, you shouldn't have planted the tree. Know a tree by the fruit it bears. What you're seeing today is the fruit of this capitalism, socialism, capitalism, democracy, right? Christianity. This is the fruit of it.
which is an attack on the social construct and contract and so forth. And I said, we have allowed these people to intimidate us long enough. We've allowed these people to use language. We regurgitate their language. The people who've written, the scholars, the intellectuals, the activists, since the 60s and 70s into today, into virtually every university and college that we subsidize, tuition we pay. These are tenured professors. Most of them are out of the closet Marxists. There was an article in 1989 in the Washington Post that was actually a truthful article about how these Marxists are tenured and how they're Americanizing Marxism by putting a different frame, a different explanation into it. And I said, enough is enough. If we are going to defeat this, we are in the abyss trying to claw our way out. We're not.
Yeah, but I thought America was so great. You're doing so great. If this is an apple tree, where's the apples? If this is an apple tree, where's the apples? All I see is lemons. Where's the apples? All I see is bitter fruit. And now you complain about it. This is a tree you planted.
Looking into the abyss anymore. We are in the abyss. And if we're going to get out of this, we need to know.
America is great. Everybody wants to come here. So why did anybody come to an abyss? A transgender country all messed up. Why? You just told a few minutes ago everybody wants to come here because it's so great. But now we're in the abyss. So which one is it? See, you're double talking because you're lying.
Exactly who we're dealing with. They're not our opponents. They're not our adversaries. They are our enemies. Their purpose is to destroy the society.
Oh, now America's fight. Well, I thought America was such great countries. And why? What's the problem? This is a great system, right? And you say everybody got opportunity to express themselves. So they expressing themselves, aren't they? They're expressing themselves. So now you don't like the way they express themselves. You say everybody's had the right to do it. But now you got to stop them because they're the enemy.
And they're doing it. To turn it inside out, every aspect of this society, tradition, custom, system is under attack. Our institutions, our founding.
Yeah, all of us under stress because you're under pressure because 6,000 years is up and you can't handle the pressure. That's what you're saying. You can't. The pressure's too great. I can't handle this pressure. We got to stop this. Yeah, well, it's getting worse, brother. Brother. You say we're brothers, right? Well, how come? I ain't complaining. You are. So probably we must not be so good at brothers, right? You're in trouble. That's what you complain about. The pressure's getting greater and greater and greater. Every day it's getting greater and greater and greater. So you better write some more books. Or find you another planet to get on.
Is under attack. Our children are now being brainwashed. This isn't the Red Scare.
That's exactly what I'm saying. The whole country is under pressure. That's what he's saying. Listen, read between the lines, brothers and sisters. He's telling you the whole country's under extreme pressure. And it's about to crack. It's about to collapse. That's what he's telling you. I mean, he may not even realize himself. But this is a symptom of, you got to understand. You got to understand what you're seeing right now is a symptom of the pressure these people are under. That's why they complain about it. Because if America wasn't under pressure, they wouldn't be talking. They'd be happy, jubilee, partying, talking how great things are. But they talk, they tell you. That's why we have to learn to read the signs, understand how pressure works. We tell you right here, we can't, the pressure's too great. We can't take it. We got to stop it. If we can't stop this pressure, we're going to collapse. That's what he's saying. If we can't stop this increasing pressure, we're going to collapse. You know, just distill everything down so you don't have to go all the complications. He said, if we can't stop all this pressure we are not exposed to, we're going to collapse. And you can't stop it, and it's getting worse every day.
This isn't McCarthyism. This is American Marxism. And the original progressive movement, the early progressives, they liked Karl Marx. They even liked Joseph Stalin. In fact, John Dewey, one of the leading intellectuals of the progressive movement early on, he visits 1928 Moscow. He wants to study their educational system, and he praises it. Why does he praise it? Because they're indoctrinating, brainwashing these kids that have groupthink to unite behind Stalin's movement. He praises socialism and so forth. John Dewey is the biggest impact, had the biggest impact on what is public education.
We want to talk about how Jefferson and Washington, they praised slavery. You ain't complaining about they praise that, right? And you still praise, you still saluting the flag, ain't you? So you praising it too. Because it said they have the right to terrorize us in life and even after death. Because the white master of the sky gonna get your damn black ass if you don't obey master right here on earth. See? Because they said we're foul. What about that one?
Education today, what is the media today? So here's the bottom line, Sean.
Yeah, give me the bottom line.
This book will come under attack, but here's why it's bulletproof.
Oh,
I quote them. I quote the people who created these theories, the people who are pushing them into the 1960s, into the 1970s. Now, a lot of what they write, of course, is insanity. And if
it's bulletproof, then why are you wounded? If it's bulletproof, why are you wounded? Because you're complaining. You don't sound like the sound of victory to me. Don't look like you doing a victory dance to me. You sound like a wounded dog. It sound like to me.
I go through it and I put commentary and I explain it. There's over 400 endnotes in this. But if we are going to defeat it, we have to know what we're defeating. We have to know who they are. We have to know what this comes from because it must be defeated.
So you haven't defeated yet, so that means the pressure's increasing. So he said if you don't defeat it, right, that means that's what I've been saying. The whole system's coming down. And if you don't stop this pressure, right, it's going to collapse. See? But this internal pressure, that means all your systems are under pressure, under stress. That's what pressure is. That's been saying you admit it. All your systems are under pressure, under stress. Why? Because that's pressure. And you only could withstand 6,000 years. Of 6,000 years, you'd be too pressure too great. You can't take it anymore. That's why people like you and this other clown, right? Oh man, the pressure's that's too great, man. I can't handle it, man. We gotta do something about this pressure, man. You're gonna be crying a lot more tomorrow. Because it seems like to me every day you get more stressed. The bags on the eyes, he's getting more upset every day. I don't see any victory coming out. I don't see any victory in the future. Anyway.
Let me go to right to that very point. Its existence must first be acknowledged and labeled for what it is. And then you talk at length about how in our country today, Marxists cloak themselves in phrases progressives, democratic socialists, because they know most Americans are hostile to the name Marxism. And then they operate under group names like BLM, Antifa, The Squad, New Green Deal, environmental justice. In other words, propaganda, indoctrination. Explain why they say the things they say the way they say it, because they don't want to identify themselves for who they really are. They're playing word games.
Well, there's two school of thoughts in these movements that have been spawned by Marxism. Some of them are out of the closet and they're in your face. Others try to play the game, the marketing game, many of the people in the media, some of the Democrat Party, some in entertainment and so forth. But where do they get these notions from? Where do they get oppressed and oppressor from? That is a fundamental aspect of Marxism. Where do they get proletariat versus bourgeoisie from? That is a fundamental aspect.
The bottom line, what he's talking about, he won't say it, but that's current. If you understand about 5 mathematical principles of Islam, that's current. It's currents. And so in other words, everybody has the same amount of energy. But what they've taken is they've taken these the so-called elite, they've taken all the energy themselves. So now they got this big current because the poor people are trying to keep it in the back. That's the balance. That's the stress. That's what causes revolutions. You understand? When you have too much, that's a current. If you have too much pressure on one side, more pressure on one side than the other side, right? The pressure is going to flow. It's going to balance out, and that's what's happening. And so that's why he won't call it Marxism, but really what it is the poor people, right, saying, hey, we want you stealing all our energy, and we want to take it back because you got these triple, quadruple billionaires, and it's about what 200 or 300 people that got more money between them than all the rest of the people in the United States. See, so they saying, hey, we guys, that's what happens. So you want to call it whatever you call it, Marxism, whatever. That's what's happening. See, you got that tension. They're trying to pull it. It's trying to normalize so everybody has, because that's the way nature works. Capitalism is a lie. That's the way nature works. That's the way creation works. Everyone has the same amount of energy. But in capitalism, right, some people can take other people's, like you did us, reduced the animals, took all our energy, forced us to work, took our energy. So therefore now you got a lot of energy on one side and on the other side. That's a current. So eventually, right, you got to use all kinds of police and everything else to maintain that. Let's look at this real carefully now. Okay. You got two families. Both of them have the same amount of energy, right? But one family takes all the energy from another family. So now, this family, say, each family has $100,000. So now he got $200,000. The other family has nothing. That's an imbalance. See, so that means the one that has the tension is going to pull it back. That's natural. Every reaction has opposite reaction. That's current to pull it, to normalize it. So in other words, to keep that from happening, what you have to do, right, is you have to have police force, military, whatever, to keep them from taking it back. That's the purpose of the military. That's the purpose of the police force and everything, to keep the ones that have all the energy, have all the, that's robbed it all, to keep the other people getting it back. That's the fundamental idea. That's why you have to study pressure to understand how these things work. See? So right now, it costs money to keep the police force, security, and everything else, to maintain the wealth. The others can't get it. Because that's what so-called Marxism is all about, is sharing the wealth. Everybody has equal amount to some extent. Like I said, I'm not backing it. But that's the idea behind it. And that's why you're attacking it. Because you think they're coming for your wealth. Because you accumulate more than you're supposed to have. And so now you got to have this police force and army to make that, and that's for the whole world. Because you stole from the whole world, so now you have the most powerful. You got to spend a lot of money in the military to make sure nobody come and get it back. Make sure the Native Americans don't take it back. To make sure Mexico don't take it back. Make sure all the countries, China doesn't take back what you took from them. Make sure we don't take back what you took from us. That's the whole purpose of that. See, but you got to spend money to maintain that. So now you run out of money, and so you can't afford to pay the police no more. You can't afford to have the military anymore, and so forth. And after a while, the dam breaks, and then everything flows back again. See, that's the mathematics behind this. See, but they'll never tell you that, but that's what's going on here.
Like the Marxism. When Joe Biden goes on slamming the rich versus the poor, where does he get?
See there, slamming the rich versus the poor. You shouldn't have rich and poor. Everybody has the same amount of wealth. That's the way it is in a pressure field. So it shouldn't be. And hereafter, there will be no such thing. Be no such thing. Everybody have equal amount. The only difference is the quality, what you do with it. That's the only difference, the quality. The difference between having $1 million shit farm and $1 million gold mine. That'd be up to you. See, and that's the way nature works right now. But see, you're against nature. You're going against nature. You're going against God. That's why it says God hates the user. He's at war with them because you're going against the very nature. You're going against the force of gravity, the force of consequence. You're going against it. And so therefore you can't go because the mathematics is greater than you. You cannot defeat mathematics. But that's what we try to do. And so the mathematics say if you build up a current more on one side, then there's going to build a current that's going to pull it back to the other side. But you're trying to stop that with your army and everything. But after a while, the current gets so great that you can't build an army strong enough. You can't build a police force enough, right, to keep it. Then the dam breaks, and then you're through. See, that's what I'm saying. Right, the rich and the poor. That's fundamentally that's what it's about. Now I say, brothers and sisters, learn to understand pressure, how it works. Then you see this clearly what's going on.
Get that from? It doesn't just come out of thin air. And more than that, I'm not saying they have to be technically in every aspect in the weeds with Marx and Engels, who wrote a lot of stuff. I'm saying they've taken the fundamentals. They tell us they've taken the fundamentals. Whether it's Herbert Marcuse, whether it's Derek Bell, whether it is hundreds and hundreds of other professors and scholars and writers, they tell us they've taken this from Marx or neo-Marxism, and they've adjusted it to society, whether it is genderism, whether it is economics and the attack on our economic system, whether it is an attempt to racialize Marxism, which is what critical race theory really is. I want people as a...
Bullshit. See? Well, you can call it any names you want to. Bottom line is, right, you can call 5 plus 3 anything you want to, but still 8. Still 8. Still, you can call it whatever you want to. You can say it's 9, 12, whatever, right? That ain't going to make it. It's still 8. See, all you do is make a fool of yourself. See, and that's what you're doing because you're a big fool. You are a big, total fool, and your foolishness is coming down upon you.
Side note, trying to think of this. What is critical race theory? Think of it this way. It's very simple. It's Louis Farrakhan dressed up in scholarship.
Whoa, Louis Farrakhan. See, he's Jewish. See, remember Satan against Satan? It's Louis Farrakhan dressed up in scholarship. Louis Farrakhan's on your side, buddy. He's on your side. See, but see, you don't even know it because the government got him. But see, that's how you validate him. See, because you say, well, see, anybody watch any of these movies? If you watch movies, because I don't waste my time with them anymore, right? You got an undercover guy. He's got to be more Capone than Al Capone. See, he's got more God. He's got to be more Godfather than Godfather, right? So to have credibility. So Farrakhan's get out there and say stuff that give him credibility, right? So everybody's think that he's what he's supposed to be. But we look at what he really does. See, because the guy, he ain't gonna go rob no banks. He don't kill nobody, right? See, but he'll talk the talk. See, but he don't go do those things that you know really real crimes. And so Farrakhan doesn't do anything for black folks, nothing. But he told, yeah, well, I'm against satanic Jews. Who in the hell are they? The Jews are against satanic Jews. Everybody against satanic Jews, right? See? So it's just bullshit. But now you're going to use him. Oh, well, it's just forever. No, he don't have any credibility anyway. This man's damn near, he's got 2 feet in the grave. But see, Louis Farrakhan dressed up. But these people are sick. Man, I'm telling you, y'all digging deep in y'all behind, man. Y'all need a colostostomy, what they call it, something. Yes, man, because y'all deep in y'all behind pulling out stuff. And it's still shit. It ain't honey. I don't care how deep you pull out, how much sugar you put on, it's still shit.
Louis Farrakhan hates whites, hates America, anti-Semite, separatist.
Yeah, well, he ain't none of that. He ain't none of that. He don't hate whites. He want to bring them, and he want to bring them to the NOI. See, all these lies. He ain't none of that. He ain't a separatist. He said we ain't going nowhere. See, he wants to clean up America. See, he ain't none of that what you just said. Anybody knows he ain't none of that. So he's an anti-Semite. He ain't that either. See, he ain't because real Semites are Arabs anyway. If you look at what Semite means, because you're not a Semite, but he ain't none of that. Now, don't take my word for it. Anybody listen to this? Does Farrakhan want to separate out America? Ask him. No. Does he want to bring, he's anti-white? No. He wants to bring him to NOI. See? He's none of that. What you just said, none of it.
Nationalist. That's pretty much.
He's not a nationalist either. He said if America gets in war, he wants to help fight because America belongs to us. He's not a nationalist. He's not a nationalist at all. He's telling you to vote and everything else. See? He said we're going to stay here and get America to repent. He's not a nationalist. He's not any of that. We are. He ain't. But see, that's why y'all got everybody thinking he is. And that's supposed to give him credibility. Yeah, tough Farrakhan is. Farrakhan ain't none of that. None of what you just said. None of it. Now, if he's somewhat prove to me, show me, I'll give you, I'll kiss your foot if you can show me any of that stuff you just said. He ain't any of it. Listen to his teaching, he ain't any of that. None of it. So you can say they pulling all this crap out there behind. They desperate.
What critical race theory is, but even worse, because its objective is the Marxist objective, which is what? To overthrow and overturn the American society or society generally.
Oh, okay. Let's unpack that. Critical race theory, right, is to overthrow society, right? So if critical race theory is a lie, right, then how can it overthrow anything? See, in other words, you're afraid of it because if it's true, that means it's going to overthrow all this bullshit you've been talking about. See, go overthrow all this bullshit you've been talking about. See, hold on for a second here. So critical race theory, right? That's this purpose to overthrow America. That's what you're saying? Well, so you're saying it's true? Let's see these clowns, boy.
This is why they attack history. Marx says, eliminate history.
They attack history. They attack history. You attack history. They're just telling you what you did. You don't want attacking it. Critical race theory is just telling you what you did. You the one that's attacking it. You the one that's attacking it because critical race theory is just telling you what you did. It's really not a theory anyway. It may be, well, it's not a theory.
It's called historicism. Eliminate history, American history, denounce it.
That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to limit your past. That boy is confused.
Attack it. Pull the monuments down. Burn the books.
Exactly. Because if you say you're such a good country, why would you have a monument of somebody that's a pedophile? You claim they're no good, you put them in jail for it. So why would you have a monument of a person that's a slaver, committing genocide, killing Native Americans, right? Raping women and toddlers? That's known fact. So that's what you up against? That's what you angry about? So you don't want attacking history.
The world begins today. And you know what else is interesting, Sean? Black Lives Matter and their basketball player and media and mayor supporters, they never explain what exactly it is they want to replace America with.
Anything. We don't replace it. We want to get rid of it. That's what God says. He's going to burn it down. He's going to burn it down. Why won't we replace it? Oh, there's shit on the floor. Let's replace it. No, get rid of it. You don't say my to my man, oh, there's shit on the floor. Let's replace it. Replace it with what? Get rid of it. You're sick. We're going to replace America with. That's a stupid argument. What do we replace it with?
Where's their blueprint? What exactly do they want to do if they want to eliminate this society? They're never pressed. The media never press them because the media agree with them.
Let me ask you about their tactics, propaganda, indoctrination. I've always said that we have major institutions now, Mark, that are aligned. Literally, you got big tech, you got the media mob, you've got the educational institutions, one institution after another, aligned, pushing and spreading this indoctrination, this propaganda. Very similar, as we look at the history, all throughout the world. Again, whatever name, whatever manifestation, whatever form it evolved into, it always fails, but it's always the same techniques. And the left successfully, whether we want to admit it or not, they have taken over a lot of these institutions, government, universities, these are indoctrinated, the media, the big tech, they've taken over all of them. That's an enormous amount of power.
And I point that out in the book. They've devoured our main institutions, academia, the media, now big tech. They've devoured the Democrat Party. They've devoured basically the culture. I hear people say, we have to fight the culture war. We're too busy fighting it on politics. And I think to myself, they're not mutually exclusive. We're going to have to battle on every front. We're losing. We're going to have to battle on the political front and the cultural front and every other front we can think of. As to your point, one of the key things about Marxism, and one of the key things of the Biden administration, you hear it in the media and so forth, is this. They don't talk about the individual. They don't talk about individual liberty, individual responsibility, individual accountability. It's always about groups. It's always about classes. It's about a caste system, which we don't have in America. But they seek to project that on top of the freest society on the face of the earth, on top of the most diverse society on the face of the earth. You have to have groups combating each other. You have to
The freest. You got more people in prison than all other nations combined. Right? And we're not free. We don't want to be here. You force us to be here. So how is it free? And then you say, well, Farrell's a separatist. Well, why you shouldn't have a problem with that? If you want to leave here, you say, why would anybody want to leave? But they want to leave now. You're a separatist because you want to leave. Well, he doesn't want to leave, but we do. But you don't like that either. Why? You say everybody wants to stay here. We don't want to stay. We want to leave here. We have a part with you. Well, it's separatists. It's the freest. Really? Sick people.
black fighting white. You have to have Hispanic
No,
fighting.
no. You've been fighting us. You've been fighting us for 40 some years. And you're still doing it. It's like, oh, we was here peaceful, and all of a sudden these chemists start causing friction. It's sick people. Sick.
Black. You have to have poor fighting rich. You have to have these class battles, the oppressed and the oppressor. So who are
Well, this great system, how come you have those problems? Is this system so great? Why do you have all these problems? Why you got all these problems? This is so great, the best system in the world. Why you got all these damn problems? Fundamental problems. At the foundation.
the oppressed and the oppressor? Well, it's a pretty neat trick these Marxists have, particularly the American Marxists. They get to define it. So if you support the existing society, I'll give you an example. If you're a black person and you don't want to overthrow the country, and you believe in the existing society, you may not agree that everything is right, that there's imperfections.
That means he's talking about demons. See, that's racist right there. Because if your father's white and your mother's black, right, or vice versa, it don't matter. If you're not pure white, then you're not white. So that means you're a mutt. So all black people are just mutts. Anything that's not pure white gets thrown into is in the mutt basket. And black folks buy that. That shows that's racism right in itself. See? Because they don't claim their own children. They don't claim their own children. They put their own children back out in the field. They don't claim their own children. Because if you got any kind of, you ain't pure white, we ain't one of us. Now, if that's not racism, right, or white superiority, what is?
And injustices and so forth, but you want to work within the system and so forth, you're considered to have been colonized. Your mind has been colonized by the white dominant supremacist society.
Exactly. That's a fact. Because who taught us? Who molded our minds? Who did that? Who made us? Made America? Who molded our minds? Who molded the way of thinking? Who did that? Who formed the way of thinking? Who gave us this false vision? You did. You did. If we think like that because you taught us to think that way, and anybody start break out of that mold, then you got a problem with.
So you're dismissed. They don't believe in free speech. They don't believe in engagement. They don't believe in discussion. Look at the media today. Look at big tech. They do not believe in differences of opinions, competition of opinion. They don't believe in free speech because Marxism doesn't believe in free speech. They are righteous. They are narrative. They get to decide what the language is. They get to decide how to characterize events and how to characterize people.
You never believed in free speech for us for 400 years. We was on the field. We couldn't have no free speech. So all of a sudden, what? For 100 years, we couldn't have any free speech. You didn't allow us to have free speech. Sick people.
I would answer that.
Let's look at the Democratic Party and how they now openly embrace the most radical ideas ever, and the new Green Deal socialist Democrats. You used to talk about, Scoop Jackson Democrats, or even Joe Lieberman. Joe Lieberman, once the vice presidential candidate for the Democratic Party, and then he wasn't radical enough for the party. Then he had to run as an independent, as you recall. But Democrats for a long time tried to hide their true beliefs. Now they are openly embracing things that they had never embraced before and advocating for. The biggest power grab ever of any major political party in history. I don't care if it's HRSR 1. I don't care if it's packing and stacking the U.S. Supreme Court, D.C., Puerto Rico statehood, ending the legislative filibuster. Now they seem to be open with it all. In other words, that the radical left now controls this party. It is now a major force and runs the Democratic Party. Fair statement?
Well, I would say so. In fact, it is the Democrat Party today. When you look at Joe Biden and the executive orders he signed, they're the most radical cultural attacks on our system in American history. They attack the nature of gender and sex and undermine women's sports. They attack over 60% of the people in this country who are white. They are as divisive and racialist as one can
Know a tree by the fruit it bears. That's the fruit of the American experience. This is the fruit. If it's bitter, this is the tree. So we know about the tree from the fruit it bears. Understand what he's saying? He's talking about the fruit of this American experience. Know a tree by the fruit it bears.
Possibly imagine. When you look at the squad, this isn't a squad. This is a cabal of America-hating Marxists. That's exactly what they are. I mean, they defend Hamas, they trash Israel, they trash the United States, they want to eliminate law enforcement, they want to eliminate the border. That's not a squad. That's poison. That's cancer. That's who these people are. And Bernie Sanders gets away with calling himself a democratic socialist.
And you're going to condemn them, call them. But you still got all love and joy for Washington. Why you love them so much, Washington and Jefferson, when they was treating us like animals? We were animals to them, said in the Constitution. But you celebrate them. You know why? Because you agree with them. You agree with animals. Otherwise, you'd be condemning them. You got so much harsh anger and harsh anger and vitriol for those people for a few things, but you got nothing but love for Jefferson and Washington, which is a billion times worse. They was worse than Hitler. Worse. Oh, you don't like that. Or you did plan for that. But nobody's worse than Hitler. No, they was worse. See? They was worse. To us.
This guy has been a Marxist his entire life. But he's clever enough, as most Marxists are, to try and customize it and tailor it to the American system. Because if you come out and say, I'm a Marxist and I want to overthrow the capitalist system, Americans are not going to like that. But if you incrementally argue, we need free this and free that, and we need to
I don't know. They like Bernie Sanders quite a bit, seem like to me.
take from this guy and give to that guy, and we're for the people, and they're not for the people, and they're for Jim Crow, and we're for voting, and so forth. You chip away at it, you chip away at it. So the American Marxist is very clever, very conniving about how they conduct themselves. And they've developed these various movements over the course of decades, and we're seeing it now. The pinnacle is here, whether it's in the classroom, whether it comes to our economic system and energy and so forth. They call it intersectionality, that they all come together in the aggregate, and that is what we're confronting today.
All right, we're going to take a break. Probably the most important book in a generation. We'll also get to what you can do. How do we save this great republic? More of our special edition of Hannity with the Great One right after this.
Cranky-pated, a bad mood related to a sluggish gut. Miralax is different.
Jeane Kirkpatrick famously said the blame America first crowd. Your third chapter in this book is Hate America First. We just came off a big holiday, the 4th of July. You talked about it. I've been talking about it. And the things that were said about our country, about our flag, about our anthem. Then you also see on the other side at the Stanley Cup, semifinals, finals, the crowd loudly, proudly, unapologetically saying, no, they took over the singing of the national anthem, which I think is in reaction to the things that they're reading, hearing, and seeing from this radical left movement.
Yeah, because the American people, even most of those who voted for Joe Biden, because he said that he was for unity and he was a moderate and so forth. Of course, he's a liar, and he's been a liar every day he's been in public office. The American people don't hate their country. Have you noticed, Sean, that the quote-unquote masses, the middle class, the proletariat, is not rising up and overthrowing their government? You notice this is coming.
They will be in a few days. Anyway, that's enough of that. Enough of that. So, wow, that's a lot of time. It's enough of that. Enough of that. These people, say, they're sick. They're in trouble. But we need to not get lost, brothers and sisters. I keep trying to point out to you. Understand from a mathematical point of view, this is the result of the extreme pressure, and you're going to find these people saying more and more of this. As days go by, the pressure is increasing, and it's going to be more dramatic. Nobody hardly heard anything about critical race theory until the plague came in. Now you got the plague, critical race theory, all this stuff going on, right? The election, the plague, all this stuff going, it's increasing, and they're getting more and more angry, more and more upset. It's more and more divided. We said, oh, well, see, they lie. Well, most people love America, but yet they say America's divided. No, I mean, you can't say, he just spent almost an hour telling you how everybody's hating America and all that kind of stuff. Nature, well, most people love America. No, they don't. Where's their love? And those that love it, they're sick. See? Because that means, just like people, they love gangsters and stuff, right? Because America's a gangster country. It's a terrorist country. Say it right in the anthem. And so how people, they celebrating the anthem, right? Oh, but you won't play with the anthem. You won't play what the anthem says. See? You won't play what it says. See? And why would you, if you're not a racist, why are you singing an American anthem? It says you got to be a racist to sing it. You got to raise the play, set flag, because it says it right in the anthem. It says that it's what it stands for. To terrorize niggers, no matter, even alive and in the grave. They deserve to be terrorized, and they foul. So if you're not a racist, why are you singing it? Sick people.
Oh say can you see, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming? And the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? On the shore dimly seen through the mists of the deep, where the foe's haughty host in dread silence reposes. What is that which the breeze, o'er the towering steep, as it fitfully blows, half conceals, half discloses? Now it catches the gleam of the morning's first beam. In full glory reflected now shines in the stream. 'Tis the star-spangled banner, oh long may it wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. And where is that band who so vauntingly swore that the havoc of war and the battle's confusion, a home and a country should leave us no more? Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps' pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. And the star-spangled banner in triumph doth wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh thus be it ever when freemen shall stand between their loved home and the war's desolation. Blessed with victory and peace may the heaven-rescued land praise the power that hath made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must, when our cause it is just. And this be our motto, in God is our trust. And the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. And the star-spangled banner in triumph doth wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, thus be it ever when freemen shall stand between their loved home and the war's desolation.
Just in case you don't understand what it means, I'm going to translate it for you. This is the American national anthem, the national anthem of the United States. So I'm going to translate. Here comes the translation.
The niggers' blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and niggers from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. The niggers' blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and niggers from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. The niggers' blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and niggers from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. The niggers' blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and niggers from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. The niggers' blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and niggers from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. The niggers' blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and niggers from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. The niggers' blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution.